All right, welcome to it. It's Altitude After Dark with your boys DMac and Mike Sanford licking our wounds from the Broncos game. And try not to have a loser mentality, Mike. We'll get to how the game shook out, but what are your initial reactions? And we'll get to you at the Snoop Dogg Bowl and see you and everything they had going on. But what are your initial reactions to the Broncos game?
Well, apparently it was the game of the year. I was calling a radio broadcast and I kind of went to crap in the second half because I was watching the game on my digital device, and it was just a back and forth affair. It was to be honest, it's kind of what I expected. I expected the defense to be improved. I know that's hard to say after 417 or whatever yards passing that Joe Burrow had, but Bo Nix made a couple unbelievable plays in the game, but also had opportunities in overtime to move the football and didn't make some throws. He took full accountability for that, which I really respect and appreciate as a former coach myself. I wouldn't say this was a missed opportunity or blown opportunity. That still is that title is very safe in SoFi Stadium for the blown opportunity. So I thought it was a just overall a good football game, and he lost to a really good team that probably right now is trending in being the 7th best team in the AFC, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals.
Well, let's get to where that all plays out. We'll go over the NFL scoreboard as well and how that impacts the Broncos in just a second. Your 401k is likely one of your most important financial plans, but it's only part of a comprehensive financial strategy. Edward Jones can help you understand how your retirement assets fit into your entire retirement picture so you can work toward meeting your unique retirement goals. Contact Beau Smith, your Colorado Edward Jones financial advisor at 303-758-8500 or visit edwardjones.com/Beau-Smith. That's BEAU-Smith. Edward Jones, member SIPC. Let's get to some of the moments of the game that were pretty remarkable. And break them down. First of all, the Bengals, they knew how to bungle up the end of the game management. That's for sure, Coach. I mean, you must have been crawling seeing them just all you need to do is kick a chip shot field goal and work your way down. They got themselves in the most bizarre position where they had to go for a touchdown and then hang on for dear life.
Yeah,
they didn't, as it turned out. But go ahead.
I know. There were some. You could tell there was some trust issues that's going on with their kicker position as it played out and deep into the overtime. Screw it. We're just going to put the ball in Joe Burrow's hands. Who cares if he throws a pick? It's better than doinking another field goal. But at the end of the fourth quarter, I memean, I think that Zach Taylor's come under a lot of scrutiny for decisions that he has made throughout the course of his career. But a really good play caller. Joe Burrow he's the gold standard. And now I think Bo Nix has played against what I would say regular season, 2 of the gold standards in pro football at the quarterback position. And that was our guy, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow, and, fell short on both of them, but was highly competitive in one of them. And then of course you had the great matchup with Patrick Mahomes. So there's some questionable decision-making down the stretch. But the Bengals, stay alive and one of the hottest teams, and probably nobody in the AFC that's in top 4 seeds wants to see the Bengals anytime soon. If they
let me get to that in a second. I'll definitely get to that in a second. So the Bengals just screw everything up, seriously, even though they score a touchdown. I mean, they take Chase Brown, their best running back, and they have him almost, lose his knee trying to fall down when all you have to do is take a knee. I mean, why are we running a play where the plan is to run to the 1-yard line and then awkwardly fall with our running back who would play like every single snap? Smart, not smart. Ain't no doubt about that. Okay, fine. But that causes them to use one of their timeouts so the Broncos don't have to. So the Bengals are in a really weird position where they can't really run the clock out now. It's too risky. It would given the Broncos a lot of time left to only need 3 points theoretically because of that mistake. Okay, fine. And then the Broncos, Mike, should have just let them score the touchdown at that point. Yeah. I mean,
that's a defensive play call. I've heard it called highway. I've heard it called Broadway. Like you're just
the Broncos actually kind of screwed that up. They didn't. I mean, he scored, but they actually put up a little bit of a fight to stop him from scoring. It's like, whoa, no, you got to let him score. This is the only chance you have. And then there's quite a bit of time left on the clock. All right, talk to me, Coach. You got a minute 21. You got a timeout. You're good, right? I mean, sort of. I mean, you got enough time, right?
No, you do have enough time. You absolutely do. I mean, that's if you have an elite quarterback or you have a more than capable quarterback, minute 21 with a timeout and starting on the 30-yard line nowadays. I mean, it takes 3 plays to get into position to push the ball into the end zone. And so, yeah, that's very much a situation in the National Football League that you want to avoid if you can. If you're the team with the lead and you possess the football, you want to try to get that clock under 40 seconds if you can.
So the Broncos, with Bo Nix, their rookie, succeed. And it was another head shaker because you need like 9 yards and Javonte gets 8 yards on his route. Like, hey, bro, oh my God. Okay. Makes a diving catch. Great catch, but you're a yard short. Well, here we go. It's 4th and 1, but now there's 15 seconds, whatever is left on the clock. I mean, you can pick up a first down, I guess, but the clock's going to run out on you. You got to take one shot. You basically have one shot for the end zone. You don't have another play, Mike, unless you can somehow pick up a first down and get out of bounds. Maybe you can do that. Maybe you can do it. But that might run out on you. And what do? Just an absolute dime. And Marvin Mims, covered by 2 dudes, makes a world-class catch. Incredible reception, right?
I thought from a football instincts and just situational management, Bo Nix putting that ball up, it was just brilliant. Now, the play itself, 99.9% of the credit for the actual play, man, Marvin Mims, that was the degree of difficulty on that catch, not just to be able to fight through 2, but as you're coming down and the ball's kind of moving and it's getting close. Like if you watch, I mean, we've all watched that replay probably 100 times. But just to see, he worked to get his wrist underneath it just enough so that it doesn't touch the ground. Marvin Mims, man, what a game for him. I know going earlier to the game, Bo Nix's 67-yard air throw was showtime. I mean, I'm talking.
And they haven't connected on a pass like that all year. They haven't had one workout. I don't remember one. I don't recall one, at least. I mean, not anything close to that. And I don't know what is wrong with Troy Franklin, Coach, in seeing a ball and adjusting his body to a ball in the air. I don't know what it is. I think some guys, they either have that magical ability or they don't. I don't know if Troy Franklin has it. I think Marvin Mims has it. I think Sutton has it. I think
he definitely does.
Franklin,
Devon Bailey has it.
What is wrong with Franklin, though? He can't read the play. He can't adjust his body. He's just all over the place there.
I find it really interesting. If you think back to the first 10 weeks of the season, the amount of opportunities that Troy Franklin has gotten as a rookie that wasn't a first rounder, a second rounder, it's mind blowing. And then you also think about, if you rewind to last season and then the first, 13 games of the regular season until the Cleveland Browns game, Marvin Mims hasn't gotten these opportunities. These opportunities down the field have gone to Troy Franklin, quite a few of them.
It's crazy.
I think the rope has been extended out very long for Troy Franklin, and he just doesn't take it. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. We'll get to that in overtime here in a little bit. But here we go. You got 8 seconds. You go for 2 or you kick the extra point. Now, be honest, and I'll be honest about myself to start with. It did not hit me that a tie gets you into the playoffs until they got to overtime.
It hit me.
It did not hit
immediately.
So it did not get me. I'm outing myself. Did you realize at that time, whether you go for 2 or not, shit, man, a tie actually gets us in the playoffs?
I did. Yeah, I absolutely did. I've been looking at the tiebreaker scenarios for the last couple of weeks, and I kept seeing. I mean, it's been the case since the Chargers game, if I'm not mistaken. A tie in any of the remaining 3 games would have secured a playoff spot.
You're right. It hadn't hit me in the head we can just tie this stuff and we're good.
I was thinking about that in the Chargers game when that game was going on. In my mind, I'm like, play for the tie, and that might have been a better opportunity to play for a tie because Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman like to run the football. They can get stuck in neutral offensively. Justin Herbert's fantastic, very talented, but at times isn't the guy that you fear, certainly like you would Joe Burrow. And so my thought process, just maybe as a fan, but with a coaching background, you can play for the tie, but you do realize that Joe Burrow's the quarterback of the other team, correct? And he's playing he's the best passer in pro football.
Okay.
And it's not even close.
So would you have gone for 2 or not?
Yes, absolutely. Why? Because unlike you, DMac, I have a winner's mentality.
Dude, I've got it on record.
I want to get into the postseason.
Coach, I got it on video. I am screaming at the absolute moment. Go for the 2. Go for 2. I am screaming it. I've got video of it. You're just gonna have to believe me on that. I don't have it handy here.
No, it's right. I totally believe you. I'm not saying you have a loser's mentality. I'm just carrying over our argument from last week.
Well, I'll tell you this, bro. I wasn't even thinking of the tie. Once it hit me in overtime, I was kind of like, oh, wow, well, okay. I mean, I guess that kind of bizarrely makes sense. But at the time, I was like, fuck it, man. You got Joe Burrow on the other side of the field.
100%.
You've got the 31st worst red zone defense. 31st. And I think they're 28th, 29th on third down. I mean, you just have a defense that is not great in this situation. Not great. And if you just rush to the, go for it. Like, don't even think about it. And my play would have been, I'd be dying to hear what you would have called, but I would have just done some sort of little boot roll with a tight end dragging along the goal line and Cortland Sutton dragging on the back with Beau with the ball in his hands,
Possibly run for it.
Right, exactly. So you got,
and Beau's athletic enough, physical enough, and tough enough.
He'll read it.
Well, not only that, if it comes down to him launching his body into the air and getting John Elway torpedoed, he would do it. He would absolutely do it. He'd go. He would be a Knicks copter if he needed to get in the end zone.
And if you lose the game that way, so be it, man.
Still got another chance, right, DMac?
No doubt about it, bro.
You know
but this is it, man. You got one play. You're going to give me one play for 2 yards to make the playoffs? Like, that's it? And meanwhile, I got to friggin' negotiate a coin flip and overtime with Joe Burrow and whatever else. I mean, or I can advance.
You're on the road.
And you're on the road. And let's be honest, you should have got killed in that game. They had 1,000, I think it was actually over 500 total yards on you. Joe Burrow threw for over 400. You stopped them twice inside of the 5-yard line on goal-to-goal situations. They, the doink would happen a little bit later, obviously. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you were lucky to beat you. You had to drive the field with 1:21 to get in that spot. Coach, what are we doing here?
You're playing with house money at that point.
Oh, right?
Aren't you playing with house money at that point?
Yeah,
You're like, hey, man.
You shouldn't have been in that game.
Riverboat Sean, right? Riverboat Gambling Sean. I thought it was right on brand for him to stick up the double barrels to the entire world. But
he was playing. No. He ended up playing for a tie, as he admitted later. It was the right call because a tie would have got us in. I can't believe it. Coach Sean Payton was playing for a tie. Wow. Comment on that?
I mean, from the standpoint of just get into the postseason, yeah, it makes sense. From the standpoint of maybe not put the game on Bo Nix's shoulders in that play as a rookie, because it could be detrimental to the perception and development of his rookie quarterback. I just think it's Joe Burrow's on the other sideline. That it's pretty simple. I mean, that guy is already thrown for, at that point in time, probably 370 or 350 or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he had an absolutely dominant day, and you got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins that are just absolutely getting loose. And this Yasuka Pass or whatever. I mean, these dudes they look like the freaking St. Louis Rams back when Kurt Warner and Oz Hakeem were throwing the rock around. I wouldn't have liked my chances, especially with the way defense has defended the pass for the last 5 weeks.
All right, let's get into the overtime then, because they kicked the extra point. I think Sean Payton blinked in the moment. He should have been more aggressive, in my opinion. Sounds like you more or less agree with me on that one too.
Yeah, did you hear Beau post game?
I did.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Say, I don't have it, but go ahead. Say what he said.
I mean, I think he did a really good job of being, deferential and deferring to his head coach in the sense that I don't have those decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Those are not decisions I make.
Yeah.
But in my mind, in the moment, yeah, we're going for 2.
Oh, it's going to be a little, let me show you this. I mean, I got to show it up to the screen here. And it sounds a little weird. This is Beau's reaction. Can you see that? What's he doing right there?
It is. You mean he's not a USC fan? That's not fight on for old SC. Fight on to victory.
Fight on. He's not in a 60s peace parade either. He is signaling. This is the moment of the touchdown, signaling that we got to go for 2 right here. That was his reaction.
So that picture was taken in Cincinnati, Ohio, not in Woodstock, New York.
It's correct. And then I got this one. This is a great one too. Here's Beau on the sideline with Sean, sitting on the sideline talking about it like afterwards.
Oh, the old palms up.
Like, what are we doing here?
He's giving the old palms up. Like, come on, really?
And look at Sean's body language right there, right? And there's Wade Davis between them trying to, I guess not have them punch each other. But Sean blinked. Beau didn't.
Davis Webb, right?
Davis Webb. What did I say? Wade something else.
Wade Davis. I think he was a great.
Wade Davis. I say Wade Davis Webb.
That's a great baseball player, wasn't he?
I was close with it. Let's go to overtime now. Now we're in. First of all, tails never fails. What the fuck are we calling heads for? I mean, really, seriously, really, what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are we doing? Tails. There's nothing to think about. Tails.
I always told the players that I coached when they went out for the contest or the coin flip, I'd say, tails. You have to call tails. And even if you lose on tails, it's okay. But when you call heads and you and you lose, you're mad. Even when you get it right, you're like, I didn't deserve it. I called heads. I didn't deserve it.
It's just one less thing to think about. Tails never fails. You go with the cliche. Anyways,
nothing that goes with head.
You call heads and and you lose, of course. And now Joe Burrow's got the ball. I'm like, oh well, we lose, right? We lose the game. Unbelievably, you get to a field goal situation, and it's the doink, the loud stoink doink. It hit the flag and the pole at the same time. I mean, you're kidding me.
The double doink. It was one of these. It was like it was more of a, it hits the flag. It goes doink.
Yeah.
Doink.
Now it hits me. I'm like, wait a second. A tie does the trick here, coach. Like now I'm thinking, Jesus, how many first downs do we actually need? And
it's a long game.
Yeah. And do we got a 2-minute warning in overtime? We do, as it turns out.
Yeah.
3 and out. How'd you like the play calling there?
The old screen game comes back into play. And here's the thing with the screen game, and this is just my experience in calling screens. Man, feast or famine, right? And particularly screen game works great against heavy pressure. If you can get it off and you're throwing into the teeth of an exterior blitz on the edge, then it can crease. But it also needs to have mechanisms associated with it to get out of it versus passive defensive front looks. So wasn't my favorite, and that's kind of been a bit of a staple and a bit of a play calling Achilles heel with a rookie quarterback in high leverage situations.
Okay, 3 and out, give him the ball back. Unbelievably, you get the ball again. Couldn't believe you got the ball again. Couldn't believe it. And now
DJ and the boys, they deliver.
Unreal. You get it back again. And it was the first time the Bengals had punted all game. How about that one? Crazy. You get the ball back, another 3 and out. And this is where you miss Franklin. And, now I'm pissed because it's so clear now. Now everybody, the overtime thing, it's crystal clear what you need to do. Mike, you needed 2 first downs, and you probably could have taken a knee. And I know that's not.
And you're in the playoffs.
You're in the playoffs.
They don't since 2015.
They don't have any timeouts. They're done. They're toast. They can't stop the clock. You need 2 first downs. 2 first downs, and you're in the playoffs. And if you have to take a knee for a tie, who gives a shit? You did what you needed to do, and it's another 3 and out. And this is where I think Sean Payton, karma got him on that one for not having the right winner's mentality. I'll roll with you here, bro.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
jump on the bandwagon, man.
Well, you want to talk about a loser's mentality, playing for a tie in the chance to win the game. I would have been fine playing for a tie in the overtime just by getting, you don't need to. Now you're doing stupid things. Now you're being kind of dumb. Now so the tie
if you're gonna play for the tie as a play caller, you got to have your best shit when your best shit's needed to get first downs.
Coach, Sean Payton called a timeout in overtime. Why? Why in the world would you call a timeout in overtime when you just need it? Why would you do it?
The only explanation is there was either a look or formation, a misalignment, a personnel change that would have potentially been game-ending catastrophic. That's the only explanation.
I'd have taken the fucking 5 yards, bro.
Yep.
I would have taken the 5 yards. We are not if we're screwing something like that up, throw the flag, whatever. But I'm not taking 1 second less off that clock.
When the 5-yard penalty, the 5-yard penalty ultimately does the same thing, correct?
It does, but
it's going to be a dead ball. You're going to stop the clock. At least you potentially exhaust the clock even further.
Right. There's a philosophical understanding about what we need to do here, fellas.
Right.
Calling a timeout shows that you're a little out of whack. Like you don't really quite get what's going on here. And I think Sean Payton got caught with his pants down, bro. I do. I think there were some really, really good things that happened, but the Broncos got awful lucky, and then they couldn't capitalize on their luck because their coach froze. And that is kind of shocking to me that Sean Payton would sort of seize up in that moment. And I do think they have the right quarterback. I showed you the picture. Beau's ready to go for it.
No,
he's taking his chances. He's not afraid of the moment.
I don't from a mentality standpoint and standing up to the adversity, standing up to big moments, like the guy does not back down. Doesn't back down. And that's a huge component of this, this quarterback quandary that you got to figure out. And a lot of times you can't figure that out at a combine. You can't even figure it out sometimes in watching tape, watching film from their college days. Some of it does translate, but yeah, it's where are you at with Sean Payton? In some of these critical moments.
I think he spent a little bit too much time on the sidelines. I think he wants to be like his protege, Dan Campbell. But he's just not quite there when he needs to be. And I'm not all in on Dan Campbell's all in on everything because I think basic math will do you all right. But I think Sean sometimes overcomplicates situations. And I think.
Hey, by the way, can we retrace before I just.
Sure.
How was the end zone logos in the Bengals end zones? Were they slippery? Is that part of the reason Marvin Mims ran the route that he did and where he was at?
I don't think there was a speck of rain. You didn't need your 10 gloves to change things. It didn't impact my man. It's a great example. Sometimes we spend too much time worrying about the infield fly rule, bro. Sometimes, but listen, they were committed to running the ball, weren't they? They were.
And we got Bo Nix. I believe he ended up with fewer than 30 pass attempts.
It piled up a little bit later, obviously, but I'm checking it here. 24 of 31, but which is a pretty.
If you take overtime out of it, that's been the stat that the Denver Broncos are undefeated when Bo Nix throws fewer than 30 passes.
Wow, that's
so
a good one right there.
It holds up.
27,
4-0, I believe.
27 for 123 rushing yards. That's fine. They didn't have a lot of plays because, listen, the Broncos essentially did what they needed to do. They slowed the pace down. They kept it manageable. It wasn't a track meet despite the final score. Not really. Things were working more or less the way they needed to. And I'll tell you this about Bo Nix real quick, and we'll get to the legend of Riley Moss, which took a beating. You came back, Bo Nix, in the fourth quarter down in the rain against the Jets, and you won. You came back in the fourth quarter against the Kansas City Chiefs, and you should have won. We, especially you and I, that's a virtual win for me and you, bro. We know that. And you did the same thing, an unbelievable pressure situation in an incredibly meaningful game for both teams against the Cincinnati Bengals on the road as well. 3 road games, 3 fourth quarter comebacks against Aaron Rodgers. Help me out. Who's the other? Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
what
generational quarterbacks.
You know what I'm saying? So that's not the problem. So you asked me how I feel about Sean Payton. Sean, you got to realize you got a thoroughbred right here, bro. and you got to have a little bit more trust in him. You really do. And Sean is such a control freak, coach. I think that's a difficult thing to sort of hang on to.
So let's talk about that trust. I would argue that there's been times this season, namely the second half against the Los Angeles Chargers, where there's been an overabundance of trust in just playing football, like just an open second half. You're just going to throw the ball almost every play instead of running the ball when it was working. But then it just seems like in some of these really critical moments, that's where the sphincter tightens up quite a bit. And that's where you're like, I wonder almost, and I've been there, as a play caller, do I really want to make decisions like to go for 2 points, or do I want to, throw my way into, potentially winning this game? Or if it doesn't go well in overtime for my rookie quarterback, am I going to expose something? And so I wonder if there's a little bit of that, where to really win games in the fourth quarter at the end of overtime, you got to just cut your dog loose, man. And that's the time to me where I want to see a little bit of overtrust in that. And then when the game's in the balance in the middle of the second quarter, the third quarter, early on in the fourth, that's where I want to see a good mix of everything. I want to see which Sean did in this game. He did run the ball. Jaleel McLaughlin was the running back du jour, as we've had. It was Audric Estime last week. Javonte Williams had basically no carries.
None. So literally zero. Yes.
He's been relegated to third down pass protection, which I think is a good role for him on this team, and that's okay.
Yeah, and he made a great catch. He's got a role. Yeah. It's a Jaleel 10 for 69. Hey, you're running 6.9 per. Come on, that's good. That's real good.
5 more. I'd take 7 more.
Sure, why not? Bo Nix 7 for 31. That's what you need. And Bo bailed them out several times. Yep. So listen, you did what it took to win because you got a little bit lucky, and then you just froze at the moment to conquer the game. That's it. You froze. And so that sucks.
I think there was a lot made out of some of the situational decision-making from Sean Payton last year, when you still were very much in the thick of a postseason race. And a lot was made that's, maybe some of the decisions to call timeouts or, against the Patriots at home, right? Mm-hmm. Was that because he was intentionally trying to get rid of Russ, which I think was a pretty strong narrative? Or was it just, here we go again, and now we're seeing it play out with the Chargers game, with the Bengals game? At what point do we need to start having, not the conversation, but was that Patriots game another example of trying to win a game and freezing up in a moment?
That's a great question, bro. That's we're getting on the shrink's couch on that one, right? Like, is Sean Payton, who was a quarterback at Eastern Illinois, just realizing what his limitations would be as a player and transferring that on to, much better athletes who are out on that NFL field? Are we doing that? And we got some weird shrink shit when it came to Gary Kubiak and Trevor Siemian compared to John Elway and Paxton Lynch. You want to talk about like weirdo stuff? I mean, we've been through it here in Bronco land. So it's a great question. I don't have an easy answer because I think there is.
No, I don't know. There is. I think it's a great discussion.
Yeah. I'm not sure. Let's get into the defensive side of the ball just a little bit, because we had this very honest moment from Riley Moss, the greatest player ever.
I love playing football. I love the sport of football. Obviously, like today, sometimes you eat a shit sandwich and you got to own it. And this isn't the first time that's happened in my career, and it's probably not going to be the last. And, the great ones are able to come back and be gritty and push through. And that's what I'm going to do. And that's what, I know everyone on this team's going to do.
What's it like eating that shit sandwich?
I'm kind of hungry right now. Shit sandwich sounds pretty good after yesterday's debacle for all Colorado football teams that participated almost simultaneously. Gosh.
I'll give you the numbers.
Yeah, Riley Moss.
Well, let me give you some numbers. Yeah. T. Higgins, 11 catches, 131 yards, 3 touchdowns, including the game winner. Okay. Jamar Chase did not have a soft game either. 9 catches for 102 yards with 38 of the long one. And Gesicki, the tight end, 10 catches for 86. I mean, Joe Burrow was pretty phenomenal. So it's not like Patrick Surtain was perfect, but Riley Moss, oh my God. And Coach, we did talk about it. Like, this guy can't be that valuable. I mean, I get it, but the narrative, like, hey, everything will be fine when Riley Moss gets back, I thought was kind of overblown this week.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this wasn't Jameis Winston throwing for 500 bad. I mean, would you agree with that? Regulation.
No, because Levi Wallace,
overall
Levi Wallace literally may have faced his last snaps ever in the NFL because of that game. So no,
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't great.
It wasn't to that point, but
No.
I think there was some ring rust with my guy. He hasn't been in the octagon for quite some time, if you will, in Riley Moss. I think that does play a factor in it. I think bigger than all that, hey man, sometimes the bear gets you, sometimes you get the bear, and in this case, the bear got you, and that's Joe Burrow. And I think the legend of Riley Moss taking a major swan dive into an empty pool, I think it was actually more because of my guy Joe Burrow, who is that good. Okay. He is so good. He's not just a player that, is a great thrower of the ball. He's tough. He's a dog. He wants the ball in his hands with the game on the line, and he makes receivers better with his ball placement. He is such an advanced passer of the football. And so while I will say that Riley Moss through majority of the year and even last night, at most times he's in the right position.
Right.
But the advanced nature of ball placement from Joe Burrow is just next level. And so Riley Moss was just, he was having one of those days, man, where you're in the spin cycle and you can't get out of it. And a lot of it was the talented receiver, but more so, in my opinion, just how advanced Joe Burrow is as a passer.
All right, let's go through the NFL scoreboard because, and I know you gave me a hard time about this, Coach. I know you did, but things actually worked out exactly the way I predicted they would. I hope you give me a little credit on that one. I mean, and I wasn't trying to be a Debbie Downer here. What I was trying to say is the Broncos can still make it past the Bengals and get to the Super Bowl, and we should be excited about that. I wasn't trying to have a loser's mentality. I was just trying to be a little bit more realistic to the situation. And frankly, I was 100% right, and I can detail why. Unless you want to yell at me or apologize, I will accept either.
I'm not going to apologize because you had the opportunity 2 weeks in a row, 2 games in a row to clinch a postseason berth. And you got to win. You got to win a game like that.
Well, do you think they lost either of those games because of lack of effort or focus?
No, I think that, I mean, why do you think they lost both of those?
Because Sean Payton froze at the end of the day. Things went his way. He got karma on his side. He lucked out enough, and then he froze. He froze at the moment of conquest. And that's tough. You got to live with that, Sean. And he went in the post game and was adamant. He wasn't even asked a question about the 2-point conversion. This is how much it was dwelling on his mind. And, I can say to myself, I can dunk a basketball. It's not going to happen. Look at me. I mean, but I can say it. So you can say a million times, we did the right thing. We did the right thing. We did the right thing. Does not mean you did the right thing, bro. I mean, you can keep saying it, but it doesn't change the absolute facts. So yeah, that's why I think the Chargers are just better. I think they were going to beat the Broncos, whether they played on Thursday, Sunday, or a week from next Friday. I don't think that was going to matter. They won again today. They're in the playoffs. They got a great coach and a great quarterback. I think you were always going to lose to the Chargers, and I thought you were going to lose to the Bengals. I don't know always, but I thought you were going to lose. But on the same vein, bro, you are going to beat the Chiefs, and it's going to look relatively easy on Sunday because, okay, but I'll tell you this, bro.
In which starters are sitting out?
Carson, what's that? Say again?
So I think there's a lot of people are saying that all the starters for the Chiefs are going to be sitting out.
Yeah.
Every one of them. So all 22 of their starters are gone.
Not all 22. They can't sit all 22. But it's being reported by Peter Schrager and Jay Glazer.
I know Matt Mahomes isn't playing. I mean, this is a conversation we had a week ago.
What else do you need? If you get beat by the JV team, fine. But if Mahomes isn't playing, Kelsey won't play. Humphreys ain't going to play. He hasn't been playing. Who are the others?
Chris Jones.
Yeah, Chris Jones ain't going to play.
He's not playing.
No, they're all
probably DeAndre Hopkins.
He ain't going to play. And they're giving themselves like a 20-day break until they have to take on. Now watch this. Who do you want? Who, if you're the Chiefs, would you rather play? You realize if the Chiefs win on Sunday, bro, I'm calling you bro too much. I apologize. If the Chiefs,
I like being bro.
If the Chiefs win and the Bengals are the 7th seed and the Bengals beat the Bills, you're playing the Bengals or you're playing the winner of the Steelers-Texans? Mike, who would you rather play? The Steelers, Texans, Broncos, or Bengals if you're the Chiefs? Seriously, who would you rather play?
Texans, Steelers for sure.
Okay. Bengals or Broncos? Who would you rather play?
Oh, I'm sorry. In that matchup, I would want to play the Texans. They're playing.
Put them in order. Who would you rather play?
The whole year they have.
You play the Texans first. Okay, fine. Steelers second, maybe. Broncos second. I don't know. Who?
Broncos second.
Second. All right.
If I'm the Chiefs, I'd love to play the Broncos.
Steelers third. Right? Steelers third.
Steelers third. Bengals. I don't know who wants to play the Bengals right now.
Right. You realize the Chiefs can eliminate the Bengals from the playoffs by losing to the Broncos.
Yep.
So this isn't it's strategically, and there's no momentum to be gained. You are the 3 out of 4 time champions, 2 in a row, the MVP, 20-day rest. Taylor Swift is probably doing a private concert at a Fuddruckers outside of Kansas City for you. You have zero strategic reason to win this game. You can dial up run play after run play. Gee, what a bummer. Punt after punt, whatever. What's the softest sort of defense we can play? Have everybody try hard and just gimmick it up so the Broncos win, 27-13, something like that. You realize that is the best thing the Chiefs could do for themselves.
Is there any precedent in the National Football League for just like Andy Reid calling 48 consecutive run plays to whatever the white running back with the long hair, Carson Strong, I think is his name.
Right.
Just give him 40. And then in the post game, you went 3 and out, say 12 times in the post game. I really wanted to see what we had in Carson Strong.
Exactly.
I needed an extended look at it. Would the NFL do anything?
No.
If you truly
No. And by the way, there's precedent for this. It's happened before. Mike Shanahan, the Broncos had an undefeated season going, and I think they lost like the Giants or something. So shit, we lost. We're like 13-0, we lose. All right, sucks. They're playing the Dolphins the next game in like week 16 out of 17, something like that. Mike Shanahan, you could talk some of the old-timer Broncos coach. They drew up the most bland offense you could imagine. They basically
day one install from training camp. That's all you got to do.
Talk to them, and they were pissed. The Mark Schlerers, Tom Nalens of the world, they were all pissed off about it. Talk to them about it. Shanny did it on purpose. Why? Because they were facing the Dolphins. They could face the Dolphins in the playoffs. That's exactly what happened, and they wiped the Dolphins off the face of the earth when it mattered most in the playoffs. So the players may not like it. They don't have to know about it. But you have bigger fish to fry if you're Andy Reid, and he likes fish fries. So
he's a fan. Yeah, he's Mormon, but he still likes fish fries.
I'm going to tell you this, bro. Hit you with a bro. There is zero chance the Broncos lose this game. Zero chance. Zero chance they lose this game to the Chiefs on Sunday.
Can you do that one more time?
Zero.
Hold on.
Are you taking a picture of me?
Yeah, just want to. I've learned from this year in the wide world of the Twitter world of the Colorado Buffaloes. I'm going to start residing on Receipt Street because I like just keeping all the receipts, man.
Go for it. Receipt me up. Meme it up. Zero chance. This game means everything for the Broncos, and losing means everything for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Losing means more to the Chiefs than winning. So why the fuck would you win?
Yeah,
why
you don't need to try. Yeah. It's awesome, man. This is the best losers mentality conversation in the history of the world. I love it. I'm here for all of it. It's so good. Just go ahead and backdoor into the playoffs because the team you're playing to get into the playoffs wants to lose to you.
Okay. What can I say, man? You know what, Coach? If you didn't like that, you should have gone for it. Should have gone for 2, bro. I'll hit you with one more, bro.
That would have done my heart well.
Sure.
Even if they didn't get it, I still would have done my heart.
Fine. We would
I
all
would have
been
felt
fine.
better. I would have felt better about this game. To be honest,
no doubt about it.
Excited about it.
Oh, I'll be back. Hold on. This happens every now and then. I'll be good. Hang on.
Oh gosh.
There we go. Sorry about that. That happens
You're
every
good.
now and then when I get too excited. All right. By the way, your big reward will be playing the Buffalo Bills. If anybody wants to check out where I used to live, it's 75 Mariner Street, ironically, in a part of Buffalo called Allentown. Not shitting you. It's 75 Mariners off Allen Street. It's Allentown. There's an Allentown district in Buffalo that was there a long time before Josh Allen, and it really does exist. So that's the joint. Look it up on Google Earth if you want. 75 Mariner Street, and I lived there for 5 years, Mike. And you're probably
Are you trying to like incite some type of Broncos riot at your old address? I mean, are you trying to put this out into the universe? I mean, whoever lives on 75 what?
Mariner Street.
Yeah, whoever lives on 75 Mariner Street is going to be like, what is going on? Why are there all these angry Broncos fans with pitchforks outside of my house right now? What are we doing?
Oh, that's pretty funny. So that's good news this week, and we'll handle it from there. All right, let's touch on college real quick. Just with CU, to me, that's just an unfocused team that didn't care about the game. That was beaten by a better prepared team. I don't know how else to put it.
And a better team. A better team
who was better prepared, taking the game far more seriously than
CU. And to me, whether preparation level here, there, whatever, the bowl games are so interesting. The ones that are not CFP related, these things do factor into it in terms of, what is the intent of being there? Is it to win a game, or is it to have a blast and just get absolutely shit ragged the entire time? I don't know. And I'm not saying that's what CU did or not, but I will say this. I think that anytime there was a game where a team had a true physical identity to run the football and stop the run and create pressure, that was the Achilles heel of this CU team.
And special teams.
Yep. Nebraska. It happened with Kansas State, which I thought Shedeur Sanders single-handedly kept CU in that game. He was phenomenal. And then Kansas and obviously BYU. And those teams they're built on being a physical, tough guy on the block. And frankly, those teams pose a major problem for CU. And so the offseason is going to be fascinating. I don't know.
CU's already lost a couple of coaches today. Did you catch that?
Yeah, Phil Lodeholt, the offensive line coach, was there for 1 year.
DN coach left, I think, today. Dansby, yep.
So those two coaches are gone. I just think it's going to be really interesting to see all of it and just what happens. I'm going to be watching it closely. And so I don't think that two coaches leaving the day after a bowl game is any tea leaf to read that there's something going on with Coach Prime, but it's just going to be interesting to watch the entirety of it. Even who's the starting quarterback, Caden Salter coming in from Liberty. You still have Juju that, he posted kind of a picture of he and Shedeur Sanders' locker next to each other, and he's going to leave it in better place than he found it. Right now, there's just not a lot of precedent across high levels of college football to start a true freshman with zero college experience. I still think that Caden Salter will most likely be your starting quarterback for, I think, the majority of the year, if not the entirety.
Interesting. Okay. Well, hey, we look forward to it. It's been a fun run. This game really didn't matter. I had no problems at all with Cam Ward only playing the first half for Miami.
I agree with that.
Fine. Hey, man, he showed up, played a little bit. Okay, it's an exhibition game. You lost, whatever. Who cares? I thought being embarrassed, which I think CU was, using your big guns actually kind of sucked more. This would have been a little bit easier to swallow, frankly, if Prime had just come out and said, "Listen, I love my young men. They are going to play in the first half, and that's it. And I'm going to trust that we have a good enough team to do what we need to do. But the future of these two guys is such that is going to be our game plan. That is what I'm going to do." And had he made that clear from the jump, Mike, I don't think anybody would have had a problem with it whatsoever. And instead, you're out there in the fourth quarter. You're behind by 1 million points. I don't know why they're both on the field at that point. They shouldn't have been. but they were there because you made this pledge for them to be there. You made a big deal about the insurance shit. I mean, you kind of blew the whole like concept there. And to me, that wasn't benefiting anybody but you. You dug that hole for yourself, and then you couldn't get your players focused on what the task was for whatever reason. And frankly, they're just a better team anyways. And you're probably facing a better coach, in all honesty. And that's the result, because BYU has no players. They have a quarterback rotation. They don't have any players going to the NFL that are obvious first-round draft picks, but they're just a better team, and they played like it. So, I don't know. It's kind of simple, I think. It's not actually that complicated.
No, yeah, I agree. It's, these Bulls are – they just don't. I'll say this. I thought the Bull season with a 12-team expanded playoff, the Bulls were going to be just dog crap, like just terrible. There have been some fun games to watch as a guy that loves college football.
I will take your word for it, bro. I will take your word for it. I can't watch sporting events that don't matter. I can't do it. I don't love any sport that much. I don't. And I know you do, and good for you. But I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'll watch it all. I'll watch the CFP games, bro. I'll watch them all. I really got to stop calling you, bro.
What's different about, say, you're 5-10 in an NFL season, and we'll go 6-9. You've been statistically, mathematically eliminated from the postseason, and you cover the Broncos, or you cover, the Patriots or the Bills. What's different about those final couple games than what happens in a bowl game? Because the bowl games do impact the future of your program. So that, like, the same thing would happen with, like, if you think a bowl game doesn't affect the narrative surrounding your program or players leaving or coming in a college football bowl game, then ask Jay Norvell in that performance that was made in front of 40,000 people yesterday that I called the game for it, the Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl. I mean, CSU Twitter was ugly last night after that game.
Talk to me. Ugly. How was the experience? Just give us the roundabout on all
Snoop Dogg
the whole thing.
Snoop Dogg is unbelievable, man. Unfreaking believable. Awesome. One of the most hands-on day of game. Guy was everywhere. He went in. So we were on the call up in the broadcast, myself and Brian Haney from the Kansas Jayhawk men's basketball team and football team. He's the voice of. We were able to sneak into the Miami of Ohio locker room with our credentials. And Snoop Dogg's giving a pregame speech.
Awesome.
And unbelievable. Like, really well spoken. Guy knows football. And then Chuck Martin, the head coach, and both teams ended up doing this. He told Snoop Dogg, he said, Snoop, he said, we want you to call the first play of the game offensively.
Awesome.
And so Chuck's like, he held up a card. He had 5 different plays to choose from that were on the openers. And Snoop said, I don't need that. I just want to go 5 wides, going empty, and I want to take the ball up top. And that's exactly what Miami of Ohio did on their first play. And apparently the same thing happened in CSU's locker room. But yeah, Snoop was amazing. He was everywhere. He was up we didn't get him in the radio broadcast booth, but he was up there on the CW. He was hanging around afterwards. He took pictures with every single person. It was a lot of fun, man. The guys, it was a great atmosphere. There's DJs that were doing all this cool stuff. There was gin and juice, VIP lounge on the field. It was big time.
Coach, I want to salute. I want to hear more later on, but I just want to salute the dumbest NFL team in the world, and that would be the New York Giants. Congratulations, New York Giants.
They just won up. Didn't they just one up the Las Vegas Raiders?
They went from first in the draft, lockdown, guarantee of Shedeur Sanders, to winning today against the team, the Colts, for the second year in a row. The Colts, when they just needed to beat a bad team to give themselves a chance, figured out a way to lose it up with Joe Flacco. They won. The Giants did. Congratulations, I guess. They went from a stunning first lockdown. Shedeur was wearing Giants-inspired cleats in warm-up with the colors, to the 4th overall pick, Mike. The 4th overall pick by beating the Indianapolis Colts today. The number 1 team right now is the Patriots. The Titans, they know how to lose. They figured that out. They're 2. The Cleveland Browns, they figured it out. They're 3, and the Giants are 4. The Jags are 5. Carolina 6. Jets 7. The Raiders, who had stars in their eyes for Shedeur, are now drafting 8th, an impossibility, not just to get to Shedeur, but to Cam Ward. They'll never be able to move up from 8 to 1 or 2 or 3. Never, 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 ever, never, ever. And now the New England Patriots, who have their guy, and they just have to lose one more game to figure this bad boy out. One more for the Pats. They can either draft Travis Hunter if they want, or they can get a haul, likely from the Titans from 2 to 1, right? The Titans need a quarterback. The Browns need a quarterback. The Giants do need a quarterback. I mean, it's not crazy. But look at the offers the Patriots are about to get to deal that number 1 overall pick, which let me just ask you, what has more value? Multiple first-round picks or Travis Hunter?
Travis Hunter.
Wow, really? You think he's
Perfect.
that good? Wow.
Perfect player for Drake May. Perfect player for the Patriots that have a history under the ownership of using players in very unique ways. I think he is a perfect New England Patriot. I just see it.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, do you see my backdrop right here? Can you put me on the full screen real quick?
Yeah, of course. How do I do that, actually? How do I don't want you. I want you. How do I do? I actually don't know how to do that. I don't know how to just get you on the full screen. Wait a second. Hold on. This might work. Hold on. Let me do this. No. I don't know how to do it, bro. I'm sorry. Here's what I can do. I can do that, though. I can do that so I can see the full background.
Okay. Does that look like I'm like have one of those fictitious backgrounds going on right there?
I thought it was real. Is
no,
that
it is. Like,
oh, but it's so
that's like Camelback Mountain in the backdrop there, getting ready
so
for the old CFP. Look at that, man.
Yeah, it's so perfect. It looks fake. That's real. Are you outside?
I am outside. Yeah.
You have an unbelievable real fake backdrop going on right now. High quality.
I was like looking at it and I'm like, that's got to be fake, right? No, look at that. Funny. Look at that right there.
You're too funny.
It looks like it's etched in stone, man.
All right, man. We'll see how it rolls out. But we have reached a weird rule. If you think that's true, Shedeur may not go number 1. Shedeur may not go number 1.
I don't think he is. I don't think he will go number 1.
Well, if the Patriots,
I think Travis Hunter's going to go number 1.
How about that? What a weird twist, huh? Fun twist.
Yeah, I thought that for me, this is just my take. No, based on zero fact, just based off of feel, organizational fit. The scenario where Shedeur was a guaranteed number 1 overall was if the Raiders had cooperated and continued to lose games. I still somehow, some way think that the Raiders end up. I think Shedeur is going to end up.
No way. And I'll tell you why. It's too much for the Patriots, because if the Patriots simply do a deal with Tennessee, they're going to get additional first-round picks and Travis Hunter.
Do you know that Tennessee wants Shedeur? Do you know that the Giants want Shedeur?
They'll want somebody, and if it's not Shedeur, it's Cam Ward.
But that's my point. If it's Cam Ward,
well, whatever. I mean, all the Patriots have to do is let everybody know they're open to trading, to moving back. That's all they have to do. And if they really choose to not do that, and they have up until the moment of the pick to do it, by the way, you're going to have a very, very dramatic draft at the top, because it will go up until the last second. It could, whether the Patriots make a deal or not. Really, seriously, it could go like that.
It's going to be. I'm excited to. I'm trying to get on that Senior Bowl trip again that I was on last year, and
that'd be great.
Senior Bowl, Combine, because it's going to be an interesting year.
Well, I thought most of the CU guys were going to the East-West game, including Shedeur, and making everybody follow them there because some of their lesser guys are going there. And I thought Shedeur was going to blow off the Senior Bowl to go to East-West Shrine. I heard that.
That is true, but I talked today at Media Day to several of Boise State's draftable type players, Ahmed Hassanin, a defensive end, and he's already accepted an invite to the Shrine, but everybody wants that Senior Bowl invite. That's still the one.
Listen, it's all good, man. And I think it'd be great if you went. You were amazing last year going to that shit. So I'm all for it. Let's predict what this week is got in store for the Broncos in 1 second. Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Beau Smith, your Colorado Edward Jones financial advisor, can make your retirement goals a reality. He can help you figure out where you are today and how to get where you expect to be. Working together, you can plan for what you want and be ready to take on anything unexpected along the way. Call him at 303-758-8500 or visit edwardjones.com/Beau-Smith to get started today. That number again, 303-758-8500. Edward Jones, member SIPC. All right, brother. This week for the Broncos is what?
Hold on to your ass. I don't know.
Well said, coach.
Hold on to your ass.
By the way, I'm getting you in the golden hour right now with the sunlight. I mean, we should be taking like a prom picture right now. I am not joking. Look at that. Look at the, I know, if only, but you got to get a picture with Anne Marie right now. I mean, seriously.
This looks so fake on my own screen that I'm looking at. It's like, it's like blowing my mind.
I mean, you should be making out with your wife as the movie closes right now, something like that. It's really the perfect scene. Holy cow. If you've got a leather jacket, a white t-shirt, and a motorcycle, I'd hop on it right now, bro. I mean,
we could get real weird. It could get super weird, man.
Close the deal. Holy shit.
Look at this.
God, it's unbelievable. All right, man. Well, you'll be morning sprinting from Scottsdale. I know. Are you there all week or what's your?
I'm here through the bowl game. So the Boise State, Penn State. I had a chance to interview a couple players. I saw Drew Aller, the big time quarterback. That dude's humongous. He's like 2.5 inches taller than me. I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I went to media day today. Tomorrow is head coaches press conferences. And then it's game day on Tuesday. So
exciting.
I'll be on 10 to noon and college football playoffs, man. It's tell you what,
exciting.
It's going to be really fun.
And hey, you're pulling for Boise State. You know, I'm forks up, bro. You know, I've been like that. Hit you with one more, bro. So forks up. So we got the two underdogs battling the big boys in this. And I'd pull for both upsets, man.
I am too. I actually believe that both teams are going to play really well in this.
By the way, what is the vibe there for Arizona State and Arizona? What's going on there? What's the feeling there about
Arizona State, Texas?
Arizona State, Texas. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, it's interesting.
You're in Tucson, then they hate Arizona State.
Yeah, see, I was in Tucson, and then I drove this morning after the Snoop Dogg Bowl. Stayed in Tucson, drove up this morning with the broadcast crew I was on with. They dropped me off here at my hotel, and so I haven't really had a chance to get out. I've just been in media, media day. We're going out tonight for the big time. It's the media event. It's a media party, if you will. So we're doing that tonight. It's at a place called Pour, P-O-U-R, Pour Decisions.
In Scottsdale.
Pour Decisions.
Well, listen, after that's done, you need to grab Anne Marie and just head down to Mill in Tempe and just pretend like you're freaking 22 all over again, man. Actually, there's probably no students there. It's probably actually dead as shit.
Which would be perfect, be on brand for us. We love going to like the cool places when nobody else is there. It's like my favorite thing.
That is probably the case. All right, bro. Great job. One more, bro. Gotta wrap that up. We appreciate everybody watching and watching Altitude After Dark. Bruh, look at the light with Mike. Seriously. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's kind of ridiculous. It's awesome. All right, we'll talk to everybody.